It was a warm Saturday afternoon. The sun was shining bright over the small city. People were walking in and out of shops, laughing, shopping, and enjoying the weekend. Outside a local grocery store, a boy stood quietly near the entrance. His name was Terrell, and he looked about 10 years old. His clothes were neat but simple. His backpack was hanging from one shoulder, and his face looked calm, though his eyes were alert. Tyrell wasn't bothering anyone. He just stood there, waiting. Some people noticed him but didn't stop. Then a police car slowly rolled into the parking lot. The car stopped. White police officer stepped out and began walking toward Terrell. The officer was tall, about 6 feet, with a large belly and sunglasses hiding his eyes. His name was Officer Blake, and he didn't like when things looked out of place. "Hey, kid," Blake said in a loud voice. "What are you doing here all alone?" Tyrell turned toward him slowly and replied with a soft voice, "I'm waiting." "For my dad, sir?" "Your dad," the officer repeated with a raised eyebrow. "Where is he?" "He's coming to pick me up," Tyrell answered. Officer Blake frowned. "You been standing here long?" "A little while." The officer looked around. "You run away or something?" "No, sir," Tyrell said politely. "My dad told me to wait here." Blake took a step closer. "You got any ID? School card or something?" Tyrell opened his backpack and pulled out a small wallet. Inside was a student ID. The officer looked at it and gave a small laugh. "Tyrell Jackson," he read out loud. "No address. No contact number. That's helpful." Tyrell didn't say anything, just looked at the officer with calm eyes. "So, where exactly is your dad?" Blake asked again. "He'll be here soon." The officer crossed his arms. "And what does your dad do?" Tyrell answered, without hesitation. "He's in the Special Forces." That made the officer pause. Suddenly he laughed. "Special Forces? Like Army? Secret missions? That kind of stuff?" he asked mockingly. "Yes, sir," Tyrell replied. "He's a soldier. He can't always tell me what he's doing." Blake laughed again, louder this time. People nearby started to turn and look. A few even pulled out their phones, sensing something was happening. "Oh, that's rich," Blake said, still laughing. "Kid, come on. Don't lie to me. Saying Special Forces is going to stop me from calling child services." "I'm not lying, sir," Terrell said, his voice still calm. "My dad will come soon." The officer's face turned serious for a moment. "So you're saying your dad, a top-secret Special Forces soldier, just dropped you off at a grocery store with no phone and no address and told you to wait here?" "Yes," Terrell said simply. Officer Blake shook his head in disbelief. "And I suppose next you'll tell me he's best friends with the president too?" Tyrell didn't answer. That. More people were watching now. A woman whispered to her friend, "Why is the officer picking on that boy?" A young man was recording everything on his phone. Blake noticed but didn't care. He still thought this was a big joke. "You got jokes, kid? Real good ones," Blake said. "But let me tell you something. Lying to a police officer is a serious thing. You might think you're smart, but I'm smarter." Tyrell stayed silent. Officer Blake pulled out his radio. "Dispatch, I have a child here. No parent present. He claims his father is military. I might need child services down here." Tyrell's face didn't change. He didn't cry or argue. He just waited. "You're awfully quiet," Blake said, lowering the radio. "You scared now?" "No, sir," Tyrell replied. Blake leaned closer. "You should be lying. Not a good start to your life, kid. People like me, we see through lies all day long, and you're not fooling anyone." A few feet away, the young man with the phone whispered to his girlfriend, "This is messed up. That boy ain't even doing anything." The air started to feel heavy. Tyrell looked around, then back at the road. Then something happened. From far down the street, the sound of a powerful engine echoed. A black SUV, big, clean, and tinted, turned the corner and drove straight toward the parking lot. It moved quickly but smoothly. It didn't stop for anyone. It knew where it was going. Blake turned to look. He narrowed his eyes behind his sunglasses. The SUV pulled into the lot and stopped directly in front of the store. It didn't park properly, just stopped. The door opened slowly, and then he stepped out. A tall black man in dark clothes. No police uniform, no military badges. But something about him made people go silent. He walked like someone who had seen too much. His eyes scanned everything in a second, Blake. The cameras, the people. Then his eyes landed on Tyrell, the boy. Smiled just a little. "Hi, Dad." The man walked over to Tyrell and stood beside him. Officer Blake straightened up. "You the boy's father?" The man didn't speak right away. He stared at the officer, cold and still. Then he said quietly, "Yes." "Got some ID?" Blake asked. Again, no rush. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a small black card, no name. No photo, just a golden symbol at the center. Blake took it and looked. His face changed. "What is this?" The man didn't answer. Blake took a step back. His voice dropped. "This. I've never seen this before." "You're not supposed to," the man replied calmly. People nearby began whispering. Some were still recording. One man gasped, "Wait, I've seen that symbol before. That's high-level military." Tyrell looked up at his dad. "Are we going home now?" "Yes," the man replied. "We're done here." Officer Blake cleared his throat. "I was just doing my job." The man looked at him without emotion. "Next time, listen to the boy." He gently placed a hand on Tyrell's shoulder and began walking toward the SUV. Blake didn't stop them. People stared in silence as the black SUV slowly backed up, turned, and drove away. The parking lot felt different now. Quiet, tense. The man with the phone stopped recording and said, "That boy wasn't lying. That officer just got put in his place." People in the parking lot kept standing still even after the black SUV left. It was as if something powerful had passed through and left a mark in the air. Officer Blake remained frozen near the grocery store doors. His face looked confused and uneasy. He held the strange black card in his hand, still unsure what he had seen. There was no name, no photo, just that golden mark in the center, a symbol that looked simple, but also dangerous. He walked slowly back to his car, got inside, and locked the doors. His hands were shaking just a little. He had mocked a child, and now something about that child's father was making him feel small, back inside the SUV. Tyrell sat quietly in the back seat. His dad didn't speak right away.
Oh.
The car moved fast but smooth, as if driven by someone trained for missions. "Are you okay?" his father asked in a calm voice. "Yes, Dad," Tyrell answered. "He didn't touch me, just didn't believe me." The father's face stayed strong, but his eyes showed a different emotion. Not anger, not fear, something deeper. A quiet fire. "I'm proud of how you handled it," he said. "You stayed calm." Tyrell smiled just a little. "Me that." The man nodded. Then he looked out the window, watching the streets move past. His name was Marcus, and almost no one outside the military knew his full story. To most people, he didn't exist. And that was the point. Back at the police station, Officer Blake returned to the station later that day. He walked in, looking less confident than usual. His partner, Officer Jenkins, noticed. "You good?" Jenkins asked. "Yeah, just had a strange situation earlier," Blake replied, placing the black card on the desk. Jenkins picked it up. "This," Blake whispered, "the dad of that kid I told you about. Said he's in special forces. Gave me this." Jenkins looked closely at the symbol. His face changed. "Dude, I've only seen this once before." Blake looked at him. "Where?" "A guy from Homeland once came to do a briefing. He had this same mark on his jacket. Nobody said his name. He didn't speak once. People called him Ghost." Blake swallowed hard. "You think that's him?" Jenkins gave the card back. "I think you were lucky today." Meanwhile, online, the video of Officer Blake laughing at Tyrell had already gone viral. The clip was posted with the title, "Cop Mocks Black Boy for Lying Gets." Silenced by a real hero, people commented fast. That officer should be ashamed. That man who showed up, that's real power. Silent, calm, but dangerous. I hope that kid knows his dad is a legend. A woman named Dr. Valerie Moore, who once worked with veterans, saw the video. She paused it when Marcus stepped out of the car. She whispered, "No way, it's him." Flashback to Tyrell's memory that night after a warm dinner. Tyrell sat on the couch. He stared at the photo on the wall, him and his dad in a park. They were both smiling. He remembered a time a few months back when he asked his dad, "What do you really do?" Marcus had placed a hand on Tyrell's shoulder and said, "I do things to keep others safe. I stop things before they become dangerous. But most people will never know what I do, and that's okay." "You hurt people?" Tyrell asked. "Only when I have to. Only to protect." Tyrell had nodded. "Like a superhero." Marcus had replied, "Superheroes wear costumes. I wear silence." Officer Blake tries to dig deeper back at the station. Blake couldn't stop thinking about what happened. He opened his laptop and began searching for the symbol. First, nothing came up. Then, one image. It was a blurry photo from 10 years ago. A military group in the desert. One man in the center had his face blurred, but the golden symbol was clear on his chest. Blake leaned in close. This guy's been out there for years. Another article mentioned a mission in Eastern Europe, where hostages were rescued but no name was ever released. Blake whispered to himself, "That kid wasn't lying, and I made fun of him." Back at Tyrell's school the next day, Tyrell walked into his school. Kids stared at him. Some had seen the video. One boy sneered, "Special forces, huh? What, your dad a ninja or something?" Tyrell just smiled. "Something like that?" But one girl named Amira stood beside him. "Saw the video. That officer was wrong. You were strong." "Thanks," Tyrell said softly. They walked to class together. Meanwhile, Marcus receives a message that evening. Marcus was sitting alone in his home office. A red light blinked on a small black phone. He picked it up. A robotic voice said, "Clearance level 7. Situation flagged. Possible exposure. Your location was recorded." Marcus didn't react much. He just replied, "Understood." He knew this moment would come. He had tried to live a quiet life, tried to be a father first, a soldier second. The two could not be separated. He closed the phone and looked at the photo of Tyrell again. A file hidden in a drawer, a high-level intelligence building. A file was pulled from a locked cabinet. It was labeled Operative, GHOST status, Active Limited Contact, Known Skills, Covert Entry, Extraction, Language, Fluency, Threat Elimination, Recent Location Ping. Civilian Zone. The file was stamped, "Do not engage." It was midnight. Rain tapped gently on the window. The house was quiet. Tyrell was asleep in his room, hugging his favorite blanket. But in the other room, his father Marcus sat alone, staring at an old photo. The picture showed 5 men in black gear, faces covered, weapons in hand. Only one face was clear, his. Young, sharp eyes. Serious, he touched the photo and closed his eyes. And just like that, the memories came back. Flashback. Years ago in a war zone, the ground shook. With gunfire, Marcus and his team moved through the smoke. They were deep behind enemy lines, trying to save kidnapped diplomats. Marcus whispered, "Team Bravo, move left." Quiet. They didn't just fight. They hunted in silence, quick, sharp, without sound or mistake. Suddenly, Marcus saw a child tied to a chair. A bomb was strapped near the wall. Time ticking down. His heart raced. "Move back," someone said in his earpiece. But Marcus didn't. He ran toward the boy, cut the ropes, and disarmed the bomb with only seconds left. The mission was saved. But after that day, everything changed. He became a ghost used only for silent missions. Missions no one could talk about. Back to the present, ... Marcus took a deep breath. That past was behind him now, or so he hoped. But the video of the grocery store moment had changed things. People were talking, calling him a hero. But for Marcus's fame was dangerous. Exposure could bring enemies. Real ones, and most of all, it could bring danger to Tyrell. At school, a teacher grows curious the next day. Tyrell's teacher, Miss Harlan, pulled him aside after class. She smiled warmly. "Tyrell, can I ask you something? That video, is that really your dad?" Tyrell nodded slowly. Yes, ma'am. Seems important. Tyrell shrugged. He says he just wants to be a good dad. Miss Harlan chuckled. I think he's doing a good job. But later, she looked up the video herself. Her face turned serious. She recognized the man. Years ago, she'd seen a story about a silent soldier who stopped a terrorist group from attacking a school overseas. Now she wondered, was it really him? Officer Blake receives a warning back at the police station. Officer Blake was called into a quiet office. A tall man in a gray suit waited inside. Oh, badge. No name tag. Sit, the man said firmly. Blake sat, nervous. Did you speak to a man outside the grocery store 2 days ago? The man asked. Blake nodded slowly. Yes, he gave me this. He handed over the black card with the golden mark. The man took it without looking. Forget what you saw. Delete your searches. Tell no one else. Who is he? Blake asked, voice shaking. The man paused. You don't ask questions about him. You stay out of his way, for your safety. Then he stood and left. Blake stared. At the door for a long time, sweat on his forehead, Tyrell makes a promise that night. Marcus joined him with 2 mugs of hot cocoa. Dad, Tyrell said softly, people keep asking questions. I do. Marcus replied. I didn't mean to make trouble. You didn't? Marcus said with a small smile. We told. The truth, that's never wrong. Will they come after you? Tyrell asked. Marcus paused, then answered, maybe, but I'm ready. Tyrell looked at his dad, eyes wide. I won't let anything happen to you, Dad. Marcus laughed gently. That's my job, son. But Tyrell wasn't joking. Meanwhile, in a hidden room, ... far away. A man in a dark basement stared at the viral video on his laptop. His name was Vladek, a former arms dealer who once crossed paths with Marcus on a mission. He's barely escaped with his life. He watched the clip again, zoomed in on Marcus's face. Well. He whispered in a heavy accent. The ghost is back. He picked up a phone and made a call. Activate the sleeper. Target is in the city, and he has a son. Danger is coming back in Marcus's home. A tiny red light blinked under a drawer. A silent alarm. Something had changed. Marcus opened his secret panel and checked a screen. Movement. Foreign signal detected. They found me. He looked toward Tyrell's room, his face turning serious again. The past wasn't done with him, and this time, it could cost everything. Marcus stood by the window, staring out at the street. The night was quiet, but his instincts told him. Something was off. Years of training had taught him to listen to that silence, the kind that came just before the storm. Tyrell was in bed, fast asleep. His soft breathing filled the hallway as Marcus stepped past his room. He opened a locked drawer in his office and pulled out a flat black case. Inside was a communicator device, not connected to any network. He turned it on, and a green light blinked. A voice came through, cold and distant. You've been found. The signal we traced matches a foreign threat. Unmarked, possibly mercenaries. Marcus didn't flinch. How long do I have? Maybe 24 hours. Maybe less. Protocol is to relocate. I won't run, Marcus replied. There was a pause on the other side, then a soft understood. The light turned off. He sat still for a moment, breathing slowly. Tyrell's peaceful life was built on one promise, that Marcus had left his old life behind. But now, that past was standing at his doorstep. Meanwhile, far across the city, in an abandoned warehouse, Vladek arrived. He moved with confidence, followed by 2 silent men in suits. On a table before them was a map of the city with a red circle around one block. He lives here, Vladek said. It's the one who broke my empire. The ghost. What? One of his men asked, Do we attack the house? Vladek shook his head. No, we send a message first. Hurt the boy. Break the man from the inside. Back at school the next morning, Tyrell noticed 2 strange men parked across the street in a black van. One was pretending to read a newspaper. The other was talking into his sleeve. Amira saw Tyrell staring. Do you know them? She asked. Shook his head. No, but I don't like how they're looking at me. They walked into the building quickly. Tyrell didn't say it out loud, but something deep inside told him danger was close at lunch. While others ate and laughed, Tyrell sat alone. He texted his dad. Dad, 2 guys. Watching school, black van. The reply came fast. Stay inside. Don't talk to anyone. I'm coming. Marcus was already out the door before the message finished sending. He moved fast, slipping into the shadows as if it were second nature. He arrived at the school just in time to see the van pulling away. He memorized the license plate. His eyes narrowed. They were testing him. Tyrell ran to him at the gate. Are you okay? Marcus bent down and looked into his son's eyes. You did the right thing. But I need you to listen very carefully now. Tyrell nodded, serious. If anything feels wrong, anytime you hide, call me and stay silent. You understand? Yes, Dad. Marcus stood up, scanning the street. Later, that night Marcus sat at his desk with a pen and paper. He wrote a short letter and sealed it in an envelope marked for Tyrell only if he placed it inside the secret case. He hated writing it. But part of him knew when ghosts come back to life, someone always gets hurt. Tyrell peeked into the room. Dad, Marcus quickly hid the letter and smiled. Yeah, champ. Can you stay close tonight? Marcus stood and walked over, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. Always. As they walked down the hallway, a silent drone hovered high above their house, blinking red. Watching back at the warehouse, Vladik received a photo. A clear image of Marcus walking beside Tyrell. Vladik smiled darkly. Now we begin. Tyrell woke up early. The sky outside was still dark. He walked to the kitchen and saw his dad already dressed, sipping coffee. His eyes looked sharp, but tired. Did you sleep? Tyrell asked. Marcus shook his head. I kept watch, just in case. Tyrell sat down. Are they coming back? Marcus didn't answer right away. He walked over and placed a small device in Tyrell's hand. It looked like a pen, but heavier. If anything bad happens, Marcus said, press this button. Will send me your exact location. No one will see it, but I will. Tyrell looked at it, scared. Are we in danger? Marcus crouched and looked in his son's eyes. I will never let anything happen to you, but I need your help to keep you safe. Tyrell nodded slowly. Meanwhile, at the police station, Officer Blake stared at his computer. He had tried to search more about Marcus's past, but every file came back locked. Even the photo from the grocery store had been wiped from online. News. He typed in one more code and pressed enter. Suddenly his screen went black. Then a message appeared. Stop searching. This is your final warning. His hands shook. Who is this guy? Later that day at school, Tyrell sat quietly during class. But something didn't feel right. A janitor walked in with a mop. Tyrell had never seen him before. The man didn't mop anything. He just stood near the back wall watching. Tyrell raised his hand. Ma'am, can I go to the nurse? The teacher nodded. Tyrell grabbed his bag, but instead of going to the nurse's room, he ran outside and pressed the pen device button. Far away, Marcus's phone. VIBRATED. Location. School grounds. Signal. Emergency. Marcus jumped in his car and raced through the streets. He didn't stop at red lights. Didn't blink. At the same time, the fake janitor followed Tyrell out of the building. Tyrell ran across the schoolyard. The man started walking faster. Then a black SUV stopped at the edge of the yard. The door opened fast. Tyrell froze. It wasn't his dad. A strange man in sunglasses waved him over. Come here, kid. Your dad sent us? Tyrell took one step back. No, he didn't. The man grabbed his arm suddenly. A sharp voice rang out. Let him go. It was Marcus. He stood near the gate, calm but deadly. His eyes locked on the man. You have 5 seconds. Marcus said. The man smirked. Or what? In a blink, Marcus moved. No sound, no warning. He reached the man, twisted his wrist, and knocked him to the ground. The other Gaitha, fake janitor, ran away, but not far. Marcus pulled a small metal object from his belt, and threw it. It hit the ground near the man's foot and exploded with a flash of light. The man fell, blinded. Marcus grabbed Tyrell and pulled him close. "You okay?" he asked. Tyrell nodded quickly. Police sirens began to echo in the distance. Marcus didn't stay. They drove home in silence. Tyrell looked out the window, shaken. "Why are they doing this?" he whispered. Marcus answered softly, "Because they don't like that I'm alive, and they really don't like that I have a reason to stay alive now." That night, Marcus opened a metal box hidden in the floor. Inside was a small phone, sealed in plastic. He turned it on. A voice answered instantly. "This line is dead." "Is this?" "It's Marcus," he said. Silence. Then, "You were off the grid." "Not anymore? What do you want?" Marcus took a breath. "I need a favor. They're coming for my son. I want names." "Are you sure?" Marcus looked toward the hallway where Tyrell was sleeping. "I'm done hiding. They want a war. Then let's remind them why they feared me." Far across the city, Vladik received a report. Plan failed. He showed up faster than expected. Vladik smiled. "Perfect." He opened a case and pulled out a tablet. On the screen was a map with blinking dots. "I want eyes on that house 24/7, Vladik said. "And prepare the next step. This time we hit him where it hurts most." The next morning was quiet, but too quiet. Tyrell stayed home from school. He sat on the sofa, hugging his knees while the news played on low volume. Marcus stood near the window, watching the street. No movement, no van, no strangers. That made him more nervous. He knew silence meant they were planning something. Suddenly his phone buzzed. "A hidden number," he answered. A voice spoke. "You left us behind, Ghost, but we never forgot you."
That's Marcus's
Face turned cold. "Vladik." "You should have stayed gone," Vladik said. "Now your boy will pay the price for your sins." The line went dead. Marcus's hands tightened into fists. Tyrell looked up. "Dad, who was that?" "No one you need to worry about," Marcus said, and his eyes were full of storm. Later that day, Marcus opened an old wooden box. Inside were faded medals, photos, and a silver badge. He picked up the photo it showed him, and a few soldiers, smiling, standing next to a burning tank. He turned the photo over. Written on the back, "Team Ghost Brothers Forever." Marcus knew he couldn't do this alone. He picked up a phone and called a secure line. The voice on the other side was gruff and surprised. "Is that really you?" "I need the old team," Marcus said. "It's time." That night, Marcus took Tyrell to a quiet motel outside the city. "You'll stay here with someone I trust," he said. An old man stepped out of the shadows. He was tall, with a thick beard and kind eyes. "Tyrell," Marcus said. "This is Uncle Reese. He helped save my life more times than I can count." Reese gave Tyrell a smile and a fist bump. "We'll be safe, kid. I've got security here tighter than a fortress." Tyrell looked at his dad. "Where are you going?" Marcus bent down. "I'm going to finish something I should have ended a long time ago. But I need you to trust me." Tyrell nodded slowly. "Come back safe?" Marcus hugged him tight. "I will, I promise." Meanwhile, Vladik sat in a dark room, watching street cams from across the city. One screen flashed. Target leaving city. Another screen lit up with Marcus's face. "Follow him," Vladik said. "Let's see who he calls for help." In an empty warehouse outside the city, Marcus walked in. Slowly, 5 figures stepped out of the shadows, all strong, all scarred. Men who had once fought beside him, Reese, now back at the motel, set up cameras and motion sensors around Tyrell. "Don't worry, kid. No one's getting through here without me knowing." But across the parking lot, in a broken-down truck, a silent camera zoomed in through the blinds. A red light blinked. Someone was watching. Suddenly, Tyrell's phone vibrated. A message appeared. Your dad can't protect you forever. Tyrell's heart raced. He showed Reese. Reese's smile faded. Now, we're leaving now. We're leaving. They moved fast, but the moment they stepped outside, they heard tires screech. A black van pulled in front of them. Doors flew open. Masked men jumped out. Reese pulled out a weapon, aiming fast. Get behind me, he shouted. But Tyrell froze, then dash crack. Shot rang out from across the street. One of the attackers fell. Another shot. Second one down. The third ran back to the van. But it exploded before he reached it. Marcus stepped out from a rooftop above, lowering his sniper rifle. He spoke into a headset. I told you stay away from my son. Reese looked up, grinning. Took you long enough. Tyrell ran and hugged his dad. You came back. Marcus held him close. Always. But Vladek watched everything from his screens. Didn't look angry, he looked entertained. Very good, Ghost. Let's make this a real game. He pressed a button. Secret door opened inside. A dark room. A woman sat tied to a chair. Vladek whispered, Let's see how you handle this surprise. Marcus sat with Tyrell and Reese in a safe house deep in the woods. The air was calm, but his heart wasn't. He knew Vladek wouldn't stop not until someone was hurt or worse. Reese stood by the door, checking cameras. Still clear, he said. Marcus nodded. Not for long. Just then his phone buzzed. A video message. He opened it and froze. On the screen, a woman was tied to a chair. Her eyes swollen. A cut on her cheek. But she was alive. Tyrell looked over. Dad, who is that? Marcus whispered. Your mother. Tyrell's mouth dropped open. She's alive. Marcus stared at the screen. He'd believed she died during a mission years ago, captured and killed. But the truth hit him like a punch. Vladek's voice came through the video. You left her behind, Ghost. Now it's time to finish what you started. Come alone, or she dies. Marcus stood up fast. I'm going. Reese grabbed his arm. A trap. I know, Marcus said. But I'm not leaving her again. Tyrell's voice was soft but firm. I want to come. Marcus shook his head. You can't. I need you safe. If something happens to me, you carry on. You hear me? Tyrell hugged him tightly. Please come back. Marcus placed a hand on his head. I will, no matter what. Hours later, Marcus arrived at the meeting place, an old military bunker. Cold, dark, and silent. Just like the past, he walked in slowly, hands raised, lights turned on one by one, revealing Vladek standing beside Tyrell's mother, still tied to the chair. You really came alone? Vladek smirked. I always finish what I start, Marcus replied. Vladek laughed. This time, you finish as a ghost for real. Suddenly, armed men surrounded Marcus. 5-10. Maybe more, but Marcus didn't blink. He spoke into a hidden earpiece. Now boom. The wall behind exploded open. Smoke filled the room. Reese and the old team charged in. Bullets flew. Chaos exploded. Marcus moved like lightning, taking down 2 guards before reaching the chair. He cut the ropes. It's okay, he whispered to her. I've got you. She looked at him weakly. You came, never stopped looking, he said. Reese and the others fought fiercely. One by one, the enemies fell. Vladek tried to run, but Marcus caught him near the exit. You took everything from me, Marcus said, holding a gun to his face. Vladek smiled. And still, you won't pull the trigger. Marcus stared hard. Then he lowered the weapon. You're not worth it. But Reese stepped forward. I am. Bang. Vladek dropped. The nightmare was finally over. Later that night, Marcus, Tyrell, and his mother sat together in the cabin. I thought you were dead, Tyrell said. His mother touched his cheek. I wanted to come back to you every day, but I knew your father would keep you safe. Tears filled Tyrell's eyes. We're a family now. Marcus put his arms around them both. No one will ever break us apart again. In the distance, dawn broke over the trees. A new beginning. The sun rose gently over the hills. For the first time in many days, Tyrell felt safe. His mom was alive. His dad was home. The nightmare was over. Or so he thought. They sat at the breakfast table in the cabin. Tyrell's mom smiled as she sipped warm tea. Her hand held Marcus's. "Do you remember," she said, "when you promised me you'd never stop fighting for our son?" Marcus nodded. That promise saved all of us. Reese walked in holding a folder. "Bad news," he said. Marcus opened the file. Inside were names, photos, and maps. "These were Vladic's top contacts," Reese explained. "He may be gone, but his network is still out there, and they know you're alive." Marcus sighed. "Then we don't rest yet." Tyrell looked nervous. "Are they coming again?" "No," Marcus said. "Because this time we'll go." To them, he stood, stronger than ever, and looked at Reese. "We clean it all up for good." Over the next few weeks, Marcus and his old team hunted down every contact Vladic had. Quietly, precisely. No media, no noise. Tyrell and his mom stayed, hidden in a new safe house in the mountains. It had a garden, books, and peace. Tyrell helped her plant vegetables while she told him stories from the past. "I used to be a soldier too," she told him. "You," he said, surprised. "I was one of the best. That's how I met your father." Tyrell smiled proudly. "I want to be brave like you both." She touched his heart. "You already are." One day Marcus returned, dirty, tired, but smiling. "It's done," he said. Tyrell ran and hugged him tight. "We're safe." Marcus nodded. No more running, no more hiding. Weeks turned into months. Tyrell went back to school, but this time, no one bullied him. In fact, he had friends now. Even the officers who once mocked him now saluted his dad in public. At a school assembly, Tyrell stood on stage for a special moment. The principal spoke. This young man stood tall, when others laughed. And today, we honor his father, a true hero. Marcus walked onto the stage in full dress uniform. The entire school stood and clapped. Even Officer Blake, who once mocked Tyrell, stood silently in the back with respect in his eyes. Later that night, as stars filled the sky, Marcus and Tyrell sat on the porch. "Do you miss being a soldier?" Tyrell asked. Marcus smiled. "Sometimes, but this sitting beside youth, this is what I fought for." Tyrell looked up. "Will you ever have to fight again?" Marcus looked out into the trees, calm. "If they come, I'll be ready. But for now, we live." He pulled his son close. "No more ghosts, just us, and in the quiet night with family." Beside him, and peace finally in their hearts, Marcus closed his eyes. The war was over. The hero had come home. A few weeks passed. Tyrell was doing well in school. His teachers were proud, and his classmates no longer laughed at him. Even Officer Blake now smiled and nodded every time he saw him, but something still bothered Marcus. One evening, Reese arrived. At the cabin with a strange look on his face. "I found something," he said, handing over a small metal device. Marcus took it and looked closely. "A tracker." Reese nodded. "It was hidden under your car." Right. Marcus's heart dropped. Someone's still watching us. That night, he stayed up late, checking the cameras around the cabin. Every few minutes, he looked over at Tyrell and his wife, sleeping peacefully. He couldn't let them get hurt. Not again. The next morning, Marcus visited a man named Jensen, old friend from his military days. Jensen now worked in cybersecurity. "I need you to trace this tracker," Marcus said. Jensen plugged it in. After a few moments, he looked up, confused. "This isn't just a tracker. It's a signal relay. Someone's not watching you there. Using your location to track something, or someone else." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Who?" Jensen turned the screen. A map showed blinking red dots all over the country. Each was a target. "They're tracking all former Ghost Unit members," Jensen said. "You're not the only one they want." Marcus clenched his jaw. "Then we have to warn them." He called Reese immediately. "We've got a bigger problem." Back at the cabin, Tyrell noticed something strange. A woman with sunglasses was sitting in a car across the road. She hadn't moved for hours, Tyrell told his mom. She looked out the window. The car was gone. But later that night, a note was slipped. Under their door, Marcus picked it up when he returned. Your family is strong, but your team is weaker now. One by one we take them. You can't save everyone, Reese called in a panic. They got Cole. Cole was one of the Ghosts team. He was found unconscious in his home. A warning was left. A photo of Tyrell. Marcus knew the fight wasn't over. The real enemy hadn't shown their face yet. He looked at his family. We can't stay here, Reese started packing. Tyrell's voice trembled. Are we running again? Marcus shook his head. No, we're going to find them before they find us. He looked at the tracker one more time. His fingers tightened. If they want a war, they just got one. Marcus and Reese sat in a dark room, surrounded by maps and laptop screens. Every red dot on the screen represented a Ghost team member in danger. This isn't just revenge, Marcus said quietly. They're hunting us down. One by one, Reese nodded. And whoever's behind this, they're smart. Military smart. Tyrell and his mother were moved to a more secure location. Marcus didn't want to take any chances. Meanwhile, another message came in, this time through an encrypted channel only the Ghost team knew. You left us. Now we leave you broken. Attached was a photo of Lex, another Ghost member. His face was bruised, tied to a chair. Marcus stared at the image, his jaw tight. We trained together, he said. Saved lives together. And now someone's using our own code against us? Reese asked. Who would do this? No outsider knows our ghost signals. Marcus hesitated. There was one man, he said slowly. He was part of Ghost Unit till we left him behind on a mission. His name was Briggs. Reese stood up fast. Briggs, he died in that blast, didn't he? Marcus shook his head. No body was found, just his gear. Reese looked nervous. If Briggs is alive, then this isn't just personal. This is a war from the inside. At that moment, the power cut off. Everything went black. Marcus grabbed his gun. Reese, check the perimeter. Reese moved quickly. Marcus lit a backup lantern and checked the security monitors. Nothing but static. Suddenly, a loud crack. From outside, Reese's voice came through the earpiece. They're here. Gunshots echoed. Marcus rushed out, eyes scanning the trees. Red laser dots appeared on his chest, snipers, but before they fired, Marcus rolled to cover and returned fire. Hitting one of them, smoke grenades dropped all around. Marcus yelled, "Fall back!" They retreated to a hidden tunnel behind the cabin, leading to a secondary base. Inside, Reese was bleeding from his arm. You all right? Marcus asked. Just a graze, he replied. But they were trained, like us. Marcus patched him up. Quickly, they're not just coming for us anymore. They want Tyrell to hurt me, he said, breathing heavily. Reese nodded.
Oh.
Then it's time we stop running. Marcus looked directly into the camera. Briggs, if you're watching, I'm coming. Rain poured down on the safe house roof. Tyrell stared out the window, watching trees sway in the wind. He missed his dad, missed peace. His mom tried to smile as she handed him warm soup. He'll be back soon, she said gently. Tyrell nodded, but didn't speak. Something didn't feel right. At the underground bunker, Marcus and Reese worked through the night. Every wall was covered in old mission files, photos, maps, timelines. Marcus stared at a photo of Briggs Young, full of pride. Back then, they were brothers. He's not the same man anymore, Marcus said. We left him behind. And now he wants us to pay, Reese added. But why come after Tyrell? Marcus whispered, because he knows I'll do anything to protect him. Suddenly the screen lit up an alert. Another Ghost member was taken. Her name was Casey. She was smart, silent, deadly now. Missing. Then another video appeared. Briggs, now older with a long scar across his face, looked directly into the camera. You forgot me. Now I'll make sure no one forgets you. You have 24 hours. Come alone, or the boy disappears. Marcus's blood ran cold. Tyrell Reese grabbed the gear. You have to move. Now. Back at the safe house, Tyrell saw lights in the forest, moving shadows. He rushed to his mom. "They're here." She grabbed a weapon from under the table. "Go to the basement now." Tyrell ran, but before he reached the door, glass shattered. Behind him, smoke filled the house. He coughed, covering his mouth, and crawled to the stairs. His mom fired 2 shots at the shadowy figures, then ran after him, just as they reached the basement bang. A loud crash upstairs. Tyrell's mom locked the door behind them. "Stay quiet," she whispered. Tyrell's hands shook. Then, calm voice echoed from a speaker hidden nearby. "Hello, Tyrell. Your dad left me once. I wonder, will he leave you too?" Tyrell gasped. "Who are you?" He shouted. No answer, just silence. Then footsteps above. Tyrell's mom pointed a flashlight at a back tunnel. "Come on," she said. "We're not staying." They crawled through a narrow escape tunnel, muddy and wet. It led to the woods cold, dark and full of danger. Meanwhile, Marcus and Reese raced in a black SUV, tracking the signal from the house. Marcus gripped the wheel. "I swear, if he touches my son," Reese nodded, "we'll get them. We always do." As the camera panned across the empty safe house, the broken window, and the smoke, a shadow watched from the trees. Briggs smiled. "Now we play for real." And Reese arrived at the safe house only to find it empty. The front door was broken. Smoke lingered in the air. Blood drops led to the back. Marcus's heart pounded. Tyrell searched every room, every corner. Nothing. Then he found the hidden basement door. It was open. He rushed down. There, on the floor, was a torn piece of Tyrell's shirt. And a small voice recorder. Marcus pressed play. Briggs's voice echoed. "You trained me to survive, but you never trained to lose. You lost your team. Now, you'll lose your son." Marcus clenched his fists. His knuckles turned white. Reese stepped beside him. "He wants you to crack." "But I won't," Marcus said. "I'll end this." Meanwhile, Tyrell and his mother moved silently through the dark woods. Rain soaked their clothes, and their shoes were muddy. But she kept holding his hand tightly. "Stay close," she whispered. Suddenly, a drone flew overhead, red light blinking. She pushed Tyrell into a ditch and covered him with branches. The drone passed. But just when they thought they were safe, a tranquilizer dart struck her neck. She gasped. Tyrell screamed, "Mom!" She fell to the ground slowly, her eyes fluttering shut. Tyrell tried to wake her, but footsteps approached. Shadows appeared through the trees. He ran through the woods, over rocks, past a stream. He didn't know where to go, but he remembered something his dad once told him. If you're ever lost, run toward the wind. It carries sound. It'll take you where people are. So he ran with the wind. Meanwhile, Marcus found an old laptop left behind by Briggs. A trap? Maybe, but inside was a map. One red blinked at the edge of a mountain range. An abandoned military bunker. Reese looked at Marcus. "That's where he's keeping them." Marcus nodded. "Let's finish this." He packed only what he needed to know. Team, no backup, just him, and a promise. Back in the woods, Tyrell reached an old ranger tower. The door was locked, but he climbed up the side. From the top, he saw lights, far away vehicles, soldiers, but not his dad. He tried to shout, but a hand grabbed him from behind. He turned. It was Briggs. "Hello, son," Briggs whispered. Tyrell trembled. "You're not my dad." Briggs smiled coldly. "But tonight, you'll wish I was." Tyrell stared at Briggs, his small hands shaking. Briggs leaned in closer, his face calm but cold. "Your father left me to die. You're going to help me bring him here." "I won't help you," Tyrell said, trying to sound brave. Briggs smiled cruelly. "You already have. He's on his way now." He held up a tablet showing Marcus's live location, getting closer every second. Tyrell's eyes widened. Down below, Marcus and Reese moved through the mountain forest, weapons ready. Cold wind blew through the trees. Marcus's voice was steady. "Tyrell is near. I can feel it." Reese nodded. "Let's get him out fast." Back in the tower, Briggs spoke into a radio. Let them in, but keep them scared. Moments later, boom. An explosion behind Marcus and Reese threw dirt in the air. Trees shook. They dove to the ground. Trap, Reese yelled. Snipers fired from both sides. Marcus rolled into cover. He looked up at the tower in the distance, just barely visible through the trees. I'm going up, Marcus said. I'll cover you. Reese shouted, firing back. Inside the tower, Tyrell tried to untie his mother. She was still weak, but awake. Baby, you have to run, she whispered. I'm not leaving you, Tyrell said. Just then, a soldier entered and pulled Tyrell away. But the boy bit his arm hard. The soldier screamed. Tyrell grabbed a chair and slammed it into the wall, breaking a wooden leg. He held it like a weapon. Briggs laughed. You've got your father's fight. Tyrell didn't blink, and you're scared of it. Suddenly, a bang below. Marcus burst through the bottom level of the tower. Briggs looked down from above. You're late, Marcus? I'm never late for my son, Marcus growled, climbing the stairs fast. Briggs turned to Tyrell. Say goodbye. But before he could act, Tyrell's mother kicked a toolbox at Briggs's legs. He slipped. Tyrell hit him with the wooden stick. Briggs roared in pain. Marcus reached the top and tackled Briggs to the ground. They fought hard to train soldiers. Punches, elbows, grunts. Briggs was stronger, but Marcus was fighting for his. Son, finally, Marcus pinned Briggs down. This ends now, he said, panting. Briggs laughed. You can kill me, but others will come. Marcus tied him up instead. Then we'll be ready. He turned to Tyrell and hugged him tightly. You okay, son? Tyrell nodded, eyes full of tears. I knew you'd come. Reese arrived moments later, covering the area. We need to go. More enemies are on the way. As they escaped down the mountain, Tyrell looked back one last time at the tower. The night sky above it glowing with helicopter lights. He whispered, It's over. But Marcus knew, deep down. One last battle still remained. The mountain air was cold, and the sky was turning gray. Marcus, Tyrell, Reese, and Tyrell's mother moved quickly down the forest path. Reese held his weapon tight. We hit Briggs. Hard. But he wasn't working alone. Marcus nodded. The real enemy is still out there. He reached the hidden SUV near a dry riverbed. Just as they got in, Reese checked his tracker. Movement behind US-6 men, maybe more.
Marcus.
Hit the gas. The vehicle sped off down the dirt road. Bullets whizzed past. Tyrell ducked, covering his head. His mom pulled him close. Suddenly, a message popped up on Reese's screen. Bravo unit. Active ghost cleanup. Mission underway. Reese's face went pale. It's not just Briggs. The military sent in Bravo unit to erase every trace of Ghost team, including us. Marcus slammed the steering wheel. They're killing their own soldiers. Just to cover secrets. Reese replied, It's a black mission. No rules, no rescue. Just then an armored vehicle blocked the road ahead. Marcus swerved hard, crashing through the trees. The SUV bounced over roots and rocks. Finally, they reached an old ghost unit. Training zone abandoned, but still full of hidden traps and tunnels. We make our last stand here, Marcus said. They hid Tyrell and his mother in a steel bunker under the ground. Don't come out, Marcus told them. No matter what you hear, above ground Marcus and Reese placed explosives and traps, claymores, smoke bombs, tripwires. Then, silence. Then, ... Footsteps. Bravo unit arrived. Black gear. Night vision goggles. Moving like shadows. Marcus whispered. Showtime. The first trap exploded. Smoke filled the trees. Chaos, gunfire. Marcus and Reese moved fast like ghosts themselves. One by one, they took down the attackers. But Bravo had numbers. Reese got hit in the shoulder. Kept going. Marcus pulled him behind cover. We end this now, Reese nodded. For Tyrell. They activated the final trap EMP pull switch. Knocked out Bravo's tech and drones. The remaining soldiers panicked. Marcus stepped out of the shadows. You trained us. But you forgot, ghosts. Don't die easy. He fired the last shot. Silence fell again. When it was over, the mountain was quiet. Reese sat on the ground, bleeding but smiling. "We're still alive." Marcus helped him up. Then he ran to the bunker and opened the door. Tyrell leapt into his arms. "Dad." His mom hugged them both, crying. Marcus looked at the sunrise. No more hiding. It's time the world knows the truth. He uploaded the Ghost Unit files to a public server. Names, missions, betrayals. The truth was out. The video uploaded by Marcus went viral in hours. Every news channel, website, and phone screen was flooded with the headline, "Exposed. Secret military team used, betrayed, then hunted by their own government." Clips from the missions, photos of fallen soldiers. Evidence of Ghost Unit's work, and the final moment, Marcus's voice in the video. "We were heroes once. Then we were erased. But we survived. My son will never be hunted for the truth I buried." People were shocked. Comments poured in. "They're real heroes. Why did they hide this from us?" This man protected his child and exposed everything. Terrell watched it all from a small, quiet hospital room. His mom sat beside him, arm bandaged, but finally at peace. He looked at her and said, "I didn't know Dad was this strong." She smiled. "He's strong because of you." Meanwhile, Marcus and Reese stayed hidden. They moved from place to place, not running but waiting. Suddenly, Marcus received a message. "Your video reached the capital. Investigation opened. Stay safe. Change is coming." For the first time in years, he felt hope. Later that night, he spoke with Tyrell over video call. Tyrell said, "Dad, I want to be like you someday." Marcus smiled. "No, son, be better. Be the one who never hides." The next morning, protesters stood outside military buildings. People carried signs. "Justice for Ghost Team heroes never die." Stop the silence, but deep in a dark office room, two powerful men watched the news. One of them said he wasn't supposed to survive. The other replied, "There's still time. If the truth spreads too far, we'll all go down." They looked at the screen showing Marcus and Tyrell. One whispered coldly, "Find them. End it for good." Marcus knew it wasn't over. He sat in a small cabin near the woods, watching the trees move in the wind. Reese was nearby, still healing but alert. They were safe. For now, his phone buzzed. It was a new message. "Operation Phoenix. Final sweep. They know where you are." Marcus stood slowly. "It's happening." Reese nodded. "Then we end it on our terms." They quickly packed a few things. No panic, just quiet focus. Marcus sent one final message to Tyrell. "Be strong. No matter what happens, always tell the truth. Love you." Then they moved into the forest, one last mission. At the same time, Tyrell and his mother were taken to a protected safe house by a group of whistleblower allies. These were people who believed in truth, justice, and in Marcus. Inside, Tyrell sat by a laptop, watching his father's video again. His dad's voice echoed, "Never be afraid to stand alone, if it's for what's right." Suddenly, gunfire broke out in the woods. Marcus and Reese were surrounded. Masked soldiers came from all sides, but Marcus had planned for this. As the soldiers moved in, a hidden drone above went live, broadcasting, streaming to the entire world. Everyone saw what happened live. They saw Marcus stand tall, arms raised, speaking calmly. "You've hunted me, lied about us, and tried to silence the truth, but the world is watching now." The soldiers paused. Then a command came through their radios. "Abort mission. Do not engage." Too late. One nervous soldier fired a shot. Marcus fell. Reese shouted, firing back, but it was no use. The screen went black. Tyrell stared in silence. Tears rolled down his cheeks then. His father's final video played automatically. Marcus's recorded voice said, "If you're hearing this, I'm gone. But the truth is not. My name is Marcus. I was a soldier. I became a ghost.
Ouch.
And now I live in the light through my son." The world responded. People marched. Officials resigned. The Ghost Unit's files were entered into law. families. A fallen soldiers got justice. Hidden lies became truth, and years later, a teenage Tyrell stood at a stage wearing a medal. Cameras flashed. He spoke into the mic with a steady voice. My father was called a ghost. But I remember him as a man who never gave up, even when the world turned against him, and I promise, I'll never stop telling his story. The crowd stood and clapped. From the back of the crowd, a man in a black hoodie watched quietly. A scar on his shoulder, he smiled, then disappeared into the night.